Georgia. Prosecutors laying out the beginnings of their case against Justin Ross Harris. He is the father accused of murder after leaving his toddler son in a hot car for some 7 hours. As CNN's Victor Blackwell explains, the evidence was powerful and the story it tells disturbing.
What was Justin Ross Harris allegedly doing while his 22-month-old son, Cooper, suffered in the back of this scorching SUV?
He was having up to 6 different conversations with different women. The most common term would be sexting.
Stunning claims of raunchy text messages, suspicious internet searches, and a plan to kill his son.
Evidence is showing us right now that he's got this whole second life that he's living with alternate personalities and alternate personas.
Harris sat shackled and sullen as Detective Phil Stoddard with the Cobb County Police Department detailed X-rated messages allegedly exchanged the day Cooper died, including with a then 16-year-old girl.
Were photos being sent back and forth between these women and the defendant during this day while the child's out?
Yes, there were photos of his exposed penis, erect penis being sent. There were also photos of women's breasts being sent back to him.
No visible reaction from the 33-year-old's wife, Leanna Harris, who sat with her family and supporters in the packed courtroom.
He was a loving father. He loved his son very much. We went on family vacations together, and he was a good dad.
But just 5 days before Cooper's death, Detective Stoddard says internet searches revealed that Harris watched videos online about the dangers of being trapped in a hot car, and that Harris visited a web forum devoted to the child-free lifestyle.
So you don't have any evidence that he actually typed in a Google search or a Reddit search or anything for child-free.
True.
We're getting so far afield from the events of June the 18th. This has got nothing to do with those events whatsoever. The status of his marriage and his fantasy life has got nothing to do with the events of June the 18th. We're just getting so far afield, Judge. This isn't relevant to anything.
Judge, this goes to his state of mind in the 2 weeks leading up to the death of this child.
So this occurred within 2 weeks?
Yes, Your Honor.
Overrule the objection.
The detective also testified the couple had financial problems and took out life insurance policies on Cooper.
They had 2 policies on Cooper. The first policy was the $2,000 policy through the Home Depot.
Now, the second one, was this something that they got back in 2013?
Yes, November 2012 is when he signed up for it.
Okay. And was this something that you still had at the time of the child's death?
That is correct.
And how much was the policy?
It was a $25,000 policy.
Stoddard laid out the strange way he saw Harris reacting the day Cooper died.
He started off trying to work himself up, and we're watching him on the camera as he's doing this, and he's walking around and he's rubbing his eyes, and he's, it looked like he's trying to hyperventilate himself. No tears, no, emotion coming out of him except for, the huffing.
And through the time you're talking with him about his son and his son's death, did you ever see any tears coming from him?
No.
Even more bizarre, how witnesses say Leanna Harris reacted at the daycare when she was told that Cooper was never dropped off.
And in front of several witnesses, all of a sudden she states, Ross must have left him in the car. And they're like, what? There's no other reason. No other explanation, Ross must have left him in the car. And they try to console her, and they're like, no, there's 1,000 reasons. There, he could have taken him to lunch or something. We don't know yet. And she's like, no.
Then another shocker.
Were there any injuries to the child's face?
There were.
And what were those?
The way it's explained, there were several marks on the child's face. It would have come from the child or a scratch being made while the child was alive, and then not healing, not scabbing over or anything like that, and just soon after he passed away.
Were there any injuries to the child back of the child's head?
Yes, there were abrasions to the back of the child's head.
After 3 hours of stunning testimony, Judge Frank Cox denied Harris bond, the defense maintaining
It's not criminal negligence. It's a horrible tragedy and an accident.
Victor Blackwell, CNN, Marietta.